Hey, grateful day, y'all. So let's talk about delegation and automation for your personal life and in your business so that you can actually get your time back. And so let's break some myths right away because if you are new here, my name is Dr. TK. I am a clinical psychologist. I am a business mentor. I am also a work from home mom. And I know what it feels like to not give yourself grace and really get down on yourself when things just are not having the results that you want in different parts of your life. And so sometimes when we look at getting things off of our plate to get time back, and we are actually delegating it, our subconscious mind will then interpret it sometimes as we are being lazy. And we will then take in that narrative and actually believe it. Sometimes when we want to automate something, meaning something is recurring and it just takes the decision fatigue away, we may then think, oh my gosh, because it's automated, that means hands off. We are disconnected. But here's the thing. When you have systems like delegating and automation in your life and in your business, it actually reduces resentment even at home. It reduces confusion, it reduces decision fatigue, and most importantly, it reduces burnout. And so, if you like information like this, you will love this particular topic. We're going to deep dive. I'm going to pull back the curtain so that I'm going to break down exactly what this looks like in my personal life and in my business. And if you like this type of content, then make sure that you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let's go ahead and dive deeper. All right. So the first area that I'm going to talk about is family and household organization. So this is part of a four-part series, and technically this is part three. So I'm going to make sure to link up the playlist for part 1 and 2. But leading up to this point, we've talked about curating a personal schedule that can work with your business. And then in part 2, we really talked about the power of leveraging your time and then working in your genius zone. And so we're going to be pretty much pulling all these pieces together, but we could not get to the last part until we talked about delegation and automation. So one of the things that I started doing back in 2020, it became overnight overwhelming and overstimulated. And what started to happen is we really didn't know the people who were in my home at the time who would be responsible for what, because now everybody's in a shared space, right? And so I created back then what's called a shared family calendar. So primarily it's shared between me and my husband. We use a Google Calendar, and on that calendar, and I'll show you a little sneak peek of it in video 1 on part 1 of this series, where this is where I will schedule, if I call the dentist for my son and we schedule, or I schedule him an appointment, I will add it to the shared calendar. I will actually give it to my husband in the form of an invitation. And then I want to be intentional to set reminders. So that way, and this is what's happened over the years, is that if my husband says, oh, wait, I think you said he got an appointment coming up. When is it? I can tell him, but if I know that it's coming up tomorrow and he asks for the address or the time, I could just say, look at the calendar. And the reason why I start doing that is not to be that annoying wife, but I wanted to focus on what my goal was. If I feel like, and I don't know if I'm the only one, put it in the comment box, but I know talking to my friends and my family members, I know for sure I'm not the only woman who feels like we're holding a lot, and we hold a lot of the decisions for other people around us, even if they have the tools. So what we have to do is we have to reinforce them using the tools that they agreed upon, of course. So that way we don't feel like we're just holding it all. So we use that Google Calendar to share invites. We also I set up automatic reminders. Now, both of the schedules that we have for like both kids are visible to both parents. I'm not the only person in charge of it. He can go in there and add something too. He also uses it to schedule like haircut appointments because he then sees that I've put in the football schedules, the minimum days and, days off and all those things. And so at the end of the day, our goal is to make sure that everybody knows what is happening without asking. Okay. So this does fall into delegation, which technically moves into automation. Now, the next category that probably is the least of our favorite is household task. If I go back to 2020, 2021, again, that's where my business shifted to being fully online for the most part. And it was just a difficult adjustment. And so what I started doing is having conversations with my husband around seasonal delegation because work hours matter when we have different things going on for different streams of income. And then we also have two kids in two different districts, so it can get complicated. Our boys are 7 years apart. So from elementary school to high school, sports, activities, it can get a little messy. And so we knew that certain seasons would be busier than others, which would require the both of us to be flexible. So another thing that I incorporated after I had a conversation with him was it was called like Google List or Google Task. It was like $3 and it was a one time charge the first time I got it. And what's nice about it is that I can go on there, tag my husband. He has to download the app. And when I tag him, it alerts him through a text message or something. And then when he goes, it kind of, we both have a chore list. Like that's a better way of saying it, right? Now, again, you want to have a conversation with your partner versus just saying, this is what we doing, X, Y, and Z. Like, this is not a child. This is your partner. So we have a delegation calendar per se. So, like I said, we assign it names, we assign it due dates. And if someone has free time, what I have learned when we are on the same page regarding household tasks is that if he sees that, let's just say I said I was going to do X, Y, and Z laundry, right? And he also sees that for whatever reason, this particular day and yesterday, I kept saying I was tired, I'm exhausted. Probably I didn't really understand the context of my work until I started doing it. What he then will do is one of two things. He will say, do you want me to do the laundry? That makes me feel good because that means that I feel seen. Secondly, he will just go do the laundry. Again, I feel seen. And I'm like, yes, the list work, right? So those are some tools and things that we have used inside of our home to not just delegate and automate, but also effectively communicate. Now, when it comes down to another category, chores and time saving services, these are some services that I use throughout the year, some more than others. So, one of them is laundry pickup and drop off when needed. If you actually at this point, you could probably go to TikTok, but you can probably go to your app store or go to Google and see what are some laundry services near your home that can pick up your laundry and drop it off. So, what is required for this service is we went on Amazon, and I'll link those below. We got some of those laundry bags, and we got like 3 to 4 of them, and they're huge. So, I will personally disclose that there are certain pieces of clothing, ladies, if you get me, that I do not let anybody wash outside of this house, right? And I do that for me and my children. But outside of that, workout clothes, hangout clothes, sheets, blankets and stuff like that, I will happily send it. So there are some things that I still choose to wash, but those things are even easier to fold. I do give socks, but I don't give those other clothing items. Okay. That's just my personal preference. Okay. To each his own. So once you separate the clothes, I know for myself, I was very specific with what type of laundry detergent or pods I wanted to use. So you do have to ask that person, like, what do they have in terms of do they use pods or do they have to use pods? Do they have to use HE? All that stuff matters. You can send your own detergent. Make sure you get your detergent back. Hint, hint. That happened with one of the people because you may not even get the same person because they come and pick it up. And some apps won't let you choose the person. I just got so lucky at some point where I got the same person back to back. But my guess is on the days that maybe I would have needed laundry, some days she wasn't available, so she couldn't do it. And then by default, I would get someone else. And if there was someone that I did not like, if there were clothes that came back and I'm just like, I think you were smoking, like it could be something simple because it has happened, right? You got to test it out. I actually told the app, and not only did they exclude that person from ever picking up my batches, they even gave me my money back. And so don't feel afraid to report customer service. And so, but again, laundry is helping you delegate out. So what I noticed this did is leverage and free up a lot of my time so that I can actually enjoy my life, not just add another business task to my list. And so they come and pick it up. I set out the detergent. I usually know when they're on their way, and then I set it outside of my house. And then I will also give them my hanger so that they can hang up my hang up dry clothes. And they give it back with most of the time they don't put it back in your bags, the dirty clothes bag. They put it in a clear bag. My lady would always put a little bow, a little sign. That's how I know she would do it. And it would just be so nice to like just get your clothes and fold them up. Now, another thing that I would use for time saving, and I still use it to this day, is Instacart. So I will link that below so that if you want to use it, you can get some free money. Now, I will say You want to be really mindful of checking the prices if that matters to you of the store that you shop in. What I've learned over the years from doing Instacart and then going into the stores is some of the smaller regular grocery stores will be the regular price as in store, maybe 1 cent over or under. But then the warehouses, sometimes you really want to only use Instacart when you really do not want to leave the house. So sometimes I will save those trips for my field trip when I just want to get out kid free and make it a girls trip and maybe go to Ulta, Sephora, I'll just do like a whole situation. But I will choose sometimes to go into those stores because the like the increase in rate of items, and I go and shop in bulk once a month, like my protein powder. It can be $30 inside the warehouse, but on Instacart, it's like 37. Now, $7 ain't a big deal, but when you do 5 to $7 of an increase times multiple items, you've spent like 60 to $80, more. But granted, you're saving gas and you're saving time. So maybe you want to include or think about how far are those warehouses, for example, from your home? What all things do you need to be done? Like if I was planning a party and it's during the holiday season, I don't want to go into those stores. So to me, I'm looking at my sanity. I would rather pay the extra $40 with a tip than fight that traffic to park, to drive, to stand in line, or even scan as I go. I don't want to do it, right? So you pick your vice, okay? You pick the way that you want to shop. But at the end of the day, you can also, some people don't know this, you can use Instacart if you do go into the store sometimes as a budget friendly reminder. So while I know that the prices are a little inflated, I will use it as a prep tool to say, this is all that I'm buying so I can stay within this budget. Because let's be real, grocery prices are out of control. So you can use it for your in store shopping list and for inspiration to stay within a particular financial goal. But at the end of the day, automation doesn't mean you never do it, it just means you have a choice. So, moving on to tools, like I said, that has helped me. And these are just things that I want to mention to you. If it has a link, then I will put it below. Like I said, the reminder tools, if I find the exact name for it, I would have either put it on the screen or I'll put it below. Um, Other things that I've used when I went somewhere else and used someone else's, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want one of these. It's like the Skylight calendar. They have some of these within those warehouses that may give you a slight discount on maybe the monthly subscription. So I'll link those below. But then also, there are other tools that I use that I will put in my Amazon store, like the Skylight calendar or um, other tools that you can use to share with family. So you want to do what works with your brain and with your family and with your energy. So those were more personal. Now let's talk about segment two, which is more business and delegating around your genius zone as well as automation. So, what I want to share with you before we get into it is everything that I delegate in my business is based on what I should not be doing that's outside the scope of my genius zone that I talked about in part two of this series that I'll link below. So if it is not in my genius zone, meaning it doesn't require my face or my voice, it is a candidate for either removing it altogether because I really don't need it, it's busy work, or it needs to be delegated. What I'm going to do is just pop up a list right here of the things that I delegate. So these are for me high level because they require or they will probably give off a high level of energy if I do too much of it. So email scheduling in terms of email marketing for my coaching business, I give it to a team member. Responding to emails from either customers, clients, or collaborations that we are doing, I leave that with the same team member. Customer service, same team member. Now, all of this did require training. All of this did require me to tell this individual, like, these emails need to go directly to me. These emails, store them in a folder. These emails, urgent, kind of thing, send me a Slack message. And when it comes down to billing, also, meaning we have some programs where there are recurring payments. So if there is a billing error, I actually want the team member to handle it. But again, I used to be the person who would handle it. And what I did over time with all of these areas is I created templates I then train this individual and other people we've had in that position on these templates through Loom videos, through documents. They're called standard operating procedures. And from there, what they did is they personalized them based on the experiences they've had with taking over those tasks. And so I want to be clear, when I delegate things, I don't ever want it to be with personal touch on things like email, like it has to be this email. You cannot add anything. No, because they may be going back and forth with customers or clients, and they may find out something that will be helpful to the communication to the client, the agency, or the customer over what I have done in my short period of time of doing it, right? So also what is delegated is metrics. And so because this person, and I hope you see the trend too, if somebody is in charge of one big responsibility, I would prefer these things to be delegated all to that person, that they do throughout the week, not all in one day, where they can take charge of it. It becomes them and their responsibility. So the metrics that we also track that I have delegated over time is sales. Again, I created an Excel sheet for that. Email performance. I created the first version. My team member elevated it and it evolved. It looked beautiful. Her plus another team member also tracks our clients' wins, whether it be through feedback forms, our course portal, feedback summaries from calls, and also like after we do a workshop. And then what's really big is containing my schedule, meaning the power of saying no. The power of saying no. Okay. So now what I want to share with you is, and I'll pop it on the screen, calendar protection. So with everything that I just mentioned, this is why I train individuals that I've had in my business over the last 2 decades at this point in different businesses, why I train other people to protect my calendar. So some of the things that they have done for me is protect my time. So when someone on my money team says, why are you paying this person this much? Or why do you want to pay them this much? Or how many hours do they need to work, et cetera? What is the ROI on why you hired this person? I will be able to say, not only do they help me do X, Y, and Z for a direct ROI with cash flow, but also it helps me protect my time so that I can show up in my genius zone. It helps me say no to things and opportunities and to people that I honestly don't even want to talk to, because we get a lot of solicitation emails. It also helps me follow boundaries and show up in areas in the business that I should be showing up in. And then they can use their genius zone to do other things that I might be good at, but I actually have no business doing it. So let me insert this. If you have never paid attention to where your time goes in terms of what's called a time audit, and you really want to know what should I be delegating to someone else, matter of fact, who should I hire first? I want you to check out the description box. If you are in private practice, you can actually get this within our whole private practice profitability business plan playbook. I know that's a tongue twister, right? But it has like wealth checkups, business checklists, marketing checklists, things you want to consider either if you're opening your practice or before you scale, foundational things that should be in order. But ultimately, what I've trained them what to do is protect my time, say no, follow boundaries. And so with that in mind, they do get access to my calendar. And I don't approve every request, which means that I upload my availability for certain projects, certain collaboration with companies, certain coaching calls. And if someone says, well, that doesn't work for me, well, she will respond and say, well, this is what we have this month. You will have to wait till next month. That also trains some people who wait to the last minute to work with me. Stop waiting to the last minute. If I sent out my calendar for the whole 90 days and 90 days ends on March 31st, and you hit us up on March 15th saying there's no availability, but you didn't bought something with me for investing into coaching or something, and I'm saying, like, you shouldn't wait to the last minute. So let's go over now systems that we use as a company. So as I mentioned earlier, we do use project management, a system called Monday. This is solely to help us assign tasks so that I do not have to micromanage. I don't like to micromanage. I like to hire team members who like to be responsible, work from home on their own, with boundaries, with time management skills. And so that is actually a requirement when I hire. Like, if you don't know how to work from home, you can't work for me because we don't have an office around here. Now, other systems that we use specifically for communication is Slack. I don't like text because it allows one of somebody on the team to text something when it's on their mind. And there's no outside of do not disturb, no blockage. Versus Slack, you can turn your notifications off. You can check your status and then change it to I'm out of the office, I'll be gone for the weekend. And ultimately, it doesn't disrupt you. And so I even have trained my team members. Let's just say if we're in an open enrollment launch period and we have open enrollment on the weekends, they may be required during that whole week for 3 months to just check their email to make sure everything went smoothly on the customer service end for Saturday and Sunday. But it's literally like 5 minutes on and then get off, handle the problem and get off, right? And so, with that in mind, in the beginning, I did say if something is happening during that Saturday and Sunday, hit me up ASAP, right? And you can send me a Slack message though. I know that means I need to check Slack at least 2 to 3 times that day before I completely log off. But after training and over time, I even let that person know, do not send me a message. I will not send you a message. And one of the reasons why I love Slack, and it's free, is that you can actually schedule a message. So there may be a thought that I have, but I've recognized that my team member is so dedicated that I'll see that she read the message and I'm like, oh no. So I'm like, I need you to practice boundaries. So what I will do is I will schedule the message to be sent to her on her first day back at work within the first hour of her working. Does that make sense? So the next tool we use is an email marketing form platform called Kit. So with email marketing, the benefit, of course, is that we can all schedule our emails months, weeks, days in advance. The other system that we use for delegation and automation is social media automation. So I currently use ManyChat. Again, I will drop all these links below to all of these systems that have free trials and such. But ManyChat works with Instagram. In certain regions, it works with TikTok. Not all of them. They have some glitches, I know, with the US or California or whatnot. It also works with Facebook and it works with other social media platforms, but it gives you the ability to post, have someone do like a comment the word, and you can send them wherever you want to send them, to a podcast, to a newsletter, to an opt-in, to a product, to join your free community, whatever it is. It doesn't require me to be on all the time. So now that we've visited the systems that we use in our business, now I want to go over operational automation. So automation is where you really, really will start working less and earning more. This is the definition of scaling. And so some things that we have in place, again, this whole topic today is giving you realistic examples so that you can see where you're losing money by doing it yourself. So we have a schedule with a discussion, of course, first on automation now, where my team does do it. But in terms of me automating it, I know what's going to happen. Where this individual knows that on certain days of each month, because we have contractual agreements with agencies to do workshops, that they need to create an outreach campaign, which again, we have templates for the emails to remind these agencies to uphold their end of the bargain, whether it be to schedule something or close out something, right? We also preset up availability and then my team member will share it. And so what we've done is we've mapped out reminder emails. We also have mapped out with automation for our coaching programs, replay uploads, meaning there is a system automated where whoever is assigned to it, they know exactly what to do. Again, a standard operating procedure. So for example, we have a coaching call. Let's just say we had it on Zoom. There should be a list, if you want to delegate this out, there should be a list of tasks that this person knows what to do in a particular order in a specific amount of time. So we say, if it's on Zoom, they will be uploaded within 2 business days. Now, we started doing business days because we would have a call on Friday and people want it on Saturday and Sunday. And we're like, no, by Tuesday, meaning if you were on the call, you were on the call. Great. If you need to catch the replay, you have to wait until our team uploads everything, right? So with that in mind, that team member was able to follow those steps to a T, and we don't have to worry about it being done. Also, client response timeliness. We have key performance indicators, KPIs, in our business set up where when my team member came on board, this was like one of the first things I taught them is that as soon as you start responding to emails, once you get training, the response time is 1 business day. We do not want somebody waiting for a response to have login issues, billing issues, cancel membership, then they get billed, then we need to refund. Like, nope, one business day. But we also educate our clients and customers, especially our clients, those who are in our coaching programs. You got to watch your expiration dates on your cards. If you're in a membership, write down the date that the fee is going to be taken out. So that way you give us and your bank like 3 days to you send us a message. We have enough time to respond, cancel it, etc., before it bills you again. So that's more communication. But at the end of the day, these operational automation systems, it involves systems and people that then leverages our time, because so far what I had shared with you is just systems or people. So real talk, this again was not how I started business. I had to learn by making mistakes. I had to learn by doing. I lost time, I lost money, I lost sleep because I was losing money, right? But what did expedite me being able to implement automation and honestly know what tools to get and when to integrate them into my business, not just go based off when I saw a YouTube video, they got this, so I'm gonna get this. I'm in this coaching program, they got that, I'm gonna get that. You may not even be at that level, even in terms of the investment for that system. You may need to start somewhere else. And so, what helped me was investing in coaching, where my coach knew what digital product or service I was offering. They helped me build out the funnel process. I had to come up with the idea clearly for the product. I had to come up with what problem my client or customer is having. What can I solve for them? Because that is my expertise. A coach cannot do that for you, right? We can talk about what's getting in the way of you getting your product out there, mindset. We can also talk about what is included when you launch or put out a product or service. Just make sure you get a coach in which their area of expertise and the results that they have gotten is based on where you want to go. Don't just hire a coach to hire a coach. But at the end of the day, coaching's purpose is to expedite your process and make you more efficient, where you're not making the same mistakes that they did. You can 10x the speed as long as you put in the work. So at the end of the day, I learned from people who are 8 to 10 steps ahead of me. That's always been my rule. If you make double, triple, quadruple, or more the amount of me, I don't care if you're the same age as me or younger, you clearly know something that I don't, or you know something and you're doing something that I'm not. And sometimes that's a hard pill to swallow. Let me just say this for my educated folks. For my people who got a master's and doctorate degree, we may not want to admit it, but sometimes it's hard for us to take instruction by somebody who looks like our peer, someone who looks like we could be in the same age bracket and we can hang out together. Sometimes it's hard for you to invest and pay that person because you're only looking at the investment and not the return. So I don't want you to repeat the hard part. Get in mentorship based on what life and business season you are in. Like for us, we have the In Her Collective, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So what I want you to do right now, I want you to go down to the comment box and I want you to tell me what is one thing, it could be personal or business, what is one thing that you can delegate today? And I also want you to tell me what is one thing that you can automate today. You don't need new tools to implement some of these things I've talked about. You already have some of these tools in place, and some of them don't even need tools. They just need you to show up and do it. But I just wanted you to become aware, and I want you to take action. Now, a community that is near and dear to my heart is called the In Her Collective. This community is for women. You can be an entrepreneur, a rising entrepreneur. You can be a provider. When I say service provider, to be all the way real, you do not have to be a therapist like myself. I say that women, moms, you're all service providers. You can have a W-2 job. At the end of the day, we're all holding a lot and we focus on protecting your peace. So whether you are a W-2 employee, you're a contractor, you are an entrepreneur, you are a provider, you are a parent, you are a woman who has and holds a whole lot of capacity for a whole lot of people, and you want help, you want a community to support you with time management, gaining time freedom, delegating things off your plate, like real personal life stuff, including business, right? And you really want to, if you have a business, to design a life first business that works around your life, not the other way around, right? Then I would highly recommend that you check out the description box and join our community. We have a couple of things going on each month that will support you no matter how you can engage. If you can only engage via your phone, we have things in our community that helps you stay grounded. I sometimes will upload audios, I will upload videos, I will do based off what y'all need. I'm like, oh, you want that as a podcast? I'll put that over on YouTube because y'all asked for it, but you asked for it. So I will answer your question that way. We also have what I call connection community meetups, where we can have a mixture of those each month, where one may be focused on just protecting your peace, time management, focus, exploration around what you want and how to put it together. Then we have an entrepreneurial piece where we may talk about certain systems that are going to help you leverage your time. And can you include that into your life and or your business or both, right? So we will do exposure to streams of income, but this is not a business coaching program. This is a life coaching program in terms of having an abundant life in which it feeds your business. Okay. So we have monthly conversations and we have monthly support. So if you want to join us, click the link below. And if you are a service provider, a mental health provider, and you are still in school, this is still for you because we don't want you burning out before you start. Okay. So, y'all, if you like content like this, I would love to have you back. If you are not new here, I am so happy that you joined me again. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I would love for you to become part of our abundant crew over here. Show the algorithm on this platform that you like this video, and also drop down your questions. I thrive in my genius zone when I also know that I can answer your questions and or recommend something that can actually answer your question. All right. So I will talk to y'all soon. Stay tuned for part 4. That's where we're going to bring it all together. And we are going to talk about how do you take time off? What does that look like for your business, for your life, being a CEO? And if you have not caught up on the other 2 parts, make sure that you do that. I will make sure to drop the other links to the other individual episodes below. All right. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.